Hi, and welcome to my channel on mental health. Now, mindfulness is non-judgmental awareness. It's something that has to be practiced. It takes a bit of time. It doesn't work overnight, but it has great benefits. Quite often, when we're suffering, in pain, suffering, our minds can be quite critical, the response to it, how the mind is suffering, how it can be critical, and learning basically to normalize that is a normal response when we are suffering those difficult challenges that we come across in life, knowing that and normalizing it. And that's what mindfulness teaches us. It teaches us to be non-judgmental, the awareness around what's going on with our minds. Our minds can quite often get confused. When there's pain and suffering, it's normal. It's normal. It's a normal response. And learning that it's not something out of the ordinary. The mind goes straight to when we're in pain and suffering, that automatic response there, it goes straight to it. It goes straight to that, how it makes us feel within ourselves, our emotions, our thoughts as well. So it's normalizing it. Quite often, it's the added that's laid on top, that initially can make things worse and harder to cope with. So mindfulness is a tool that has many benefits and can help with that. It teaches us to sit with oneself rather than thinking I have to go and do that, because quite often it's learning to sit with oneself when you're in them situations, which is not easy to do. It's not easy to just sit with oneself, with everything, what's going on, what the mind is doing, what our bodies is doing. But it teaches us to do that. But it takes practice, and it teaches us not to avoid that, not to avoid those difficult situations, because quite often we can avoid those difficult situations, push them away, but they're always going to be there. They just keep coming back. So it's learning to accept the acceptance around it as well. And that's what mindfulness does. It teaches us to accept what is going on with oneself, learning to accept and to be able to move forward. Because once you accept this, what is going on, it's easier to move forward. All these things take time. It takes practice. But like I said, mindfulness is a good tool to have. It helps us to feel more calmer within ourselves over time. If you done daily practice of mindfulness, over time you will start to see those benefits and start to see that that it is working. And once you see that it's working, it gives you that motivation there to keep doing it. It has to be done consistency. It has to be done, like meditation as well. Meditation is the one that teaches us to actually sit with oneself and actually feel them body sensations, those difficulties, relaxing into it. Now, it's not, like I said, it's not something that you're going to automatically do, but it has great benefits. It teaches us to stay in the present moment, because quite often we can drift off. We can be doing something and thinking about the next thing that we're going to do, rather than focusing on what we're actually doing at that present time. It could be anything that we do in our day-to-day routines, in our day-to-day living. If we're going out for walks, if whatever we're doing in our day-to-day living, quite often we're thinking about the next thing that we've got to do, rather than staying in the present moment. So mindfulness teaches us that, to stay in the present moment, and it teaches us to focus. It helps with our to focus, our concentration. It can heal. It will help us heal the mind better if we're suffering, with poor mental health. As long mindfulness is a good tool to have. As long as the illness is being treated, it can be something that can be put into practice alongside that. And as like I said, the great benefits there: staying in the present moment and being aware, acceptance, and building a better relationship towards ourselves, our minds, because quite often the self-critical, when we're feeling, when them difficult situations come along, how, like I said, how it can affect us within ourselves. So it's teaching us to accept, build a better relationship towards ourselves, our inner, our mind, and learning how, and you can learn how the mind actually works sometimes, how it can be so critical, the self-critic there, the response, but it's normal. We have to normalize, put it into practice and normalize it, because there are many things that are normal that sometimes we may see, why did I do that? Why did I react like that? You backtrack, what happened? What did happen that made you feel like that? It teaches us so much, mindfulness do, and it helps us cope better, in a better way. And eventually, because quite often, like I said, the added that's laid on top is the one that causes the initial, the ouch that goes along with it. You take that added away and see the actual thing, you see, you take away the added and see just the initial pain and suffering. It can be a lot easier to cope with. It's the added that lays on top that makes it harder. And the response, it teaches us to respond in a better way, mindfulness do as well, rather than the negative reaction towards it as well. But like I said, it's normalizing it. It's normalizing these things. So it's very good. Mindfulness is good, is for anybody. It can help us build, like I said, be more aware and conscious of what we're actually doing. Staying in the present moment is a great healing tool to help us, when we are in pain and suffering. It decreases the stress, keeps them stress levels there low. And like I said, it's something that takes a bit of time. Everybody learns in different speeds, but it takes a bit of time. It's the patience. You have to be patient with it and know that eventually you will start to feel benefit from it as well. So we can fit it into our daily routines when we're out for walks. Being conscious, being aware of what is actually going on in that present moment. Walks, just things in general we do. And learning, and it helps us to learning to appreciate the things we have, because we're more focusedly aware on what we're doing as well. And learning to, there's different practices for mindfulness as well. quite often, you know, if our past hasn't been so good, you know, and it can affect us, it can help us, it can teach us to forgive, you know, like being like the forgiveness there, forgiving others, forgiving yourself, you know, and things like that. It's a very good tool to have. Mindfulness is, but like I said, it's not for everybody, but it's a good thing to even just try. You don't know until you try it. Basically, you just don't know whether it's going to work or not. But many people out there are doing, you know, do this mindfulness, do practice mindfulness, and do get benefit from it as well. It's something naturally that we can do ourselves, you know, a natural thing, and fit it into our daily routines as well. Bring mindfulness into our daily routine as well. It will help us feel more happier within ourselves as well. Like I said, there's many benefits to mindfulness, like the meditations. You know, if you are going to try like the meditation, maybe start off small, a 10-minute one, and maybe build up to a 30-minute one, you know, over time as well. And there are many mindfulness talks that you can listen to. You can get them up on the internet, like the YouTube and stuff like that. Mindfulness talks that, you know, can help you learn a bit about mindfulness and help you digest things in a better way as well. So I'm going to end the video there. Please share this video, and if you wish to subscribe, feel free to, and I'll see you in the next video.